In this video, we're going to take a look at the grind settings you might use when you're brewing filter coffee. So you bought a new coffee grinder and you want to brew some coffee. Often it's quite confusing to know whereabouts on that grind range you should sit. So I'm going to look at 3 very popular models of grinder and share with you where I personally start on that grind range. And I'm going to talk about filter coffee in a wide sense here. So I'm going to begin by talking about the pour-over method, the hand-brewed method. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Chemex, and finally I'm going to mention the kind of electric coffee brewers, the filter brewers, the batch brewers if you like, and the way that I adapt my grind setting for each of these methods of brewing. Now, a little word of warning. The settings I use work for me personally. It works for the coffees I like to brew, the brewing method I use, the technique I use if you like. It works for the coffee to water ratios that I use, and it works for the type of water I get out of my taps in this region. So it might not be an identical fit for you. See it as a starting point, somewhere to zone into quite quickly, and then you need to adapt from there depending on the kind of coffee you like to brew. I have put a video together in the past that talks about using your taste to help you improve your coffee brewing. So use this video as your starting point to zoom into a part of the grinder and use that video to help you adapt from that point on. Now, in each case, I've been using a set ratio of 500 grams of water to 30 grams of coffee. That's my kind of ratio, if you like. So this grind setting also works for that ratio. If you use more or less coffee, you might need to adapt your grind setting accordingly. So let's consider, first of all, your standard pour-over method, kind of V60, if you like. I'm going to talk about that first. I'm going to kind of suggest starting points for that, and then we'll talk about the other methods in a minute. So on the Fellow Ode, you've got a lovely little scale in here that tells you where they think you should be, and it's pretty accurate when it comes to the pour-over. They suggest you go between 4 and 5, and I go about 4.5, so it's bang on in that respect. Makes a really nice coffee. Even if you go up as high as 5 and as low as 4, you're going to be, personally, I think you're going to be within a nice range, enjoyable range for a coffee. On the Uniform, you've got 40 different settings. So where do you begin? My suggestion is you head to around about 30. For me, that's my go-to when I'm doing a pour-over. I may have to adapt depending on the coffee I'm using, 1 or 2 clicks either side, but it's pretty good, pretty consistent if I go for that number 30. The Wilfa Classic is a little bit confusing because there is a filter range around here, and that doesn't work for me when I'm doing my pour-over. I need to go finer than that. In fact, I need to work at the A on AeroPress. That seems to be a great go-to point for me. Again, I might adapt a little bit either side depending on the coffee I'm trying to brew. Now, when I'm brewing a Chemex, I tend to find a lot of the coffees stall towards the end of the brew. The whole thing slows down, so I tend to use a slightly coarser grind setting. To compensate for that longer brew time, I'll go a couple of clicks coarser maybe on each of these grinders to help out. So, if you're talking about 4.5 here, I might drift towards 6 on this one. I might be up at 32, 33 here. And I might start to drift a little bit towards the filter zone on this grinder. The same is true if you're using an electric coffee maker. So I use a Mocha Master, and I tend to make half-litre brews, keep them quite small in my Mocha Master, not the kind of full batch brews you do. And for that, I will tend to go a little bit coarser. If you go for these standard grind settings I mentioned earlier, I tend to find the coffee, for me personally, is a little bit strong. If you want facts and figures, I like a 1.3% strength coffee. At your standard settings of about 4.5, 30, and the A on AeroPress, I'm getting about a 1.4% strength. Now, 0.1% strength might not seem like a lot, but it is significant. So I tend to go for a coarser grind setting. So I'm going to go probably beyond 6 on this one. This actually suggests inside electric coffee maker, the range 4 to 6. I'd probably go a little bit coarser. I'd probably tend towards maybe 6.5, 7 on this one. Going to be pushing about 33 on this one. And maybe I'm going to be pushing into the filter range on the Wilfa Classic here. So a little bit away from the AeroPress and to round where it actually states filter. Like I said, starting points, suggestions, somewhere for you to go to straight away and to work from there. If you've got any thoughts, comments or questions about this video or any of my videos, please feel free to leave a comment. I read them all and I answer as many as I can. In the meantime, thanks for watching, thanks for your likes, massive thanks for your subscribes, and have a great day.